Hey, welcome back to the Senior Network. I'm Greg Fulton. We're having a great time discussing real estate in the market, and it's all exciting news. Lorena, tell us, we'll shift it a little bit to senior care, because I know your background obviously came from the assisted living, the independent livings. Tell us a little bit more about this senior transitions program, about if someone is in, like you talked about, and you got some fancy words for it, but the transition of downsizing, basically. Tell us a little bit about it.
I think most older homeowners, they have had numerous transactions throughout their lifetime.
Sure.
But those transactions are mainly tied to the sale itself. And with senior transitions, it's often a lot more complicated. There's a lot more moving parts of more people involved, whether it be family members, attorneys,
Sure.
Moving into other communities. There's just a lot more details and outside of the transaction itself.
Yeah, well, I also can see it, unfortunately, from a challenge of if you lose a spouse and you're on your own and your children are in California or wherever, they need guidance. They really need help to and it's a big move for them, right? To make that next step.
It is, and so it's a lot about communicating a lot with the family that's out of state. And using your soft skills just to help that loved one with the transition, because a lot of times they don't want to move.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of memories in those homes, and so it's just a lot of using soft skills and with communication to help them move forward into the next step.
Right.
And introducing them to people that I've worked with for years in independent living, assisted living. Home health, and just not referring them, but introduce them so there's a comfort level
they know
with
their
the
options.
process.
And like with Right at Home, I know that our whole goal is to keep them independent in the home. So we're going to go in through their current home and try to keep them there. But there does come a point sometimes where that may not be the most practical situation for them, and they do need to make a transition. And we deal a lot with the children out of state, and I'm sure, Jim, you deal a lot with children out of state, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is such a strange market in that people do come, and they come down here by themselves or with their spouse, and their kids are all so far away.
Sure.
Every now and then you get someone whose family's in Bluffton or Ridgeland or maybe even Charleston, but that seems to be the exception. You always seem to deal with somebody that they're here, but their kids are in Seattle or Cleveland or Dallas or somewhere like that it isn't anywhere close to driving distance that they could, come down here if someone's in trouble or has an issue. And you get a lot of panic calls. You probably get the same. I know you do.
Oh yeah.
But you get, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And, you just have to have a plan.
Yeah, and we always talk about on the show, the more proactive you are about talking about the things that we talk about ahead of time, and I know it's easier said than done, but we try to encourage that as much as possible, to have a plan in place for everything. All the changes are inevitable. They're going to come. Your services are going to be needed at some point.
By everyone.
Every one of us. Jim, do you use the internet at all? Websites, that type thing?
I have a website, a nice website. If someone wants, I'll put their obituaries on there.
Okay.
There's some planning tools that you can get to. I do have a Facebook page, but I'm just not as good at Facebook. I'm still learning the Facebook thing. I'm still kind of, I like the yellow
now
pages.
They've all moved to Instagram and Snapchat. And all,
that's way beyond me. I have a bag phone still. So
I got the Facebook and I stopped. I think unfortunately my age group. But no, that stuff, the social media, things like that's a great way to reach those children, and I know we do that with Right at Home a lot too, because they can actually go there. And one thing about this show, which is I always encourage people that these things are YouTubed, and there's a lot of education to go and look up under the websites from the station and so forth about the education that you guys have provided on all the shows, and we appreciate that. So I'm going to, Lorena, before we end the show today, I was thinking about, you were sitting here talking about right transitions, or the senior care transitions that you do as far as moving that. Is Keller Williams, is this just something that you folks are doing, or are you finding other agencies and companies specializing in seniors?
Right. You see a trend that's happening nationwide. We're specializing into senior transitions. There's not a whole lot of agents that are doing it this time.
Right.
But
they're just thinking about it, talking about it.
They're thinking about talking about it. I kind of naturally evolved with, I have 20 plus years experience working in the healthcare industry, and that's one of my passions. And it just seemed like it would marry real estate, which I also love, and my past was working with older adults. So
Yeah,
it just seemed like a great fit.
It is a great fit, and I'm surprised more people don't do it, but that's great for you. Well, we're out of time, unfortunately, as usual. Thank you both so much
All
for
right,
joining
thank
us.
you.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us on the Senior Network, where senior care experts come together. We'll see you the next time.